So I want everyone to close your eyes, partially because I've never been on a stage like this and I just want the power to have you close your eyes. But we're gonna do a visualization activity. Everybody's eyes closed? Okay, good. Think about the last time you were welcomed into someone's home. They offered you a drink, maybe a snack. They asked you how your family's doing. You asked them, how's your job going? You were a guest. You were welcome there. And there are rules to how guests are treated. Now, put that aside for a sec. Think about the last time you had a disagreement with someone, had a debate, might be with these same people that you were thinking about. How does that feel? What are you feeling right now? Were there rules to that discussion? And if there were, what were they? You feel it, we feel it. You can keep your eyes closed or open them, totally up to you at this point. You can keep them closed the whole time if you want. Be nice for me. You feel it, we feel it, everyone feels it. There's a political discord going on, and you feel it in the car line when you're at school. You're looking at different cars and inadvertently judging people based on car types and bumper stickers. It's true. We have gotten to a point that we cannot disagree with someone and still see them as a human. So here is my idea. We need to teach our kids to disagree with honor. And we can do that through a construct that we know here in the South and has been around America for hundreds of years, Southern hospitality. I know Southern hospitality comes with some history, comes with some traditions, and there's some shadows that go along with that. We are not talking about geography. We are talking about a principle here. We are talking about a principle that says what you bring to the table and how you react in a time of disagreement with another individual says more about your character than anything that you will post online or any vote that you will ever cast. Our kids are watching us play this game, and they are learning from what we are doing. They're learning from the behaviors we are doing. They are not learning from the rules that we say are important to us. They're learning from what we actually are doing. And what we're doing is showing them the other side is the enemy, that what they want is not what you want, and that we need to destroy them in order to get our point across. So if we go into this idea of honor before victory, that's what we need to move forward for on our kids. I've been in education for 20 years now. I started as a coach. So I started on the athletic side as a coach. As many of you know who might be coaches or might have kids, a lot of the time in the course of a season, you have to bring a young person aside and say, where do you want to go now? How do you want this to work? How exactly do you want to play the game? And that is the key. It's the how exactly do you want to play the game. We are focused more on the end result than we are on the actual process and the actual outcome. Coaches love to say, is it the end result or is it the process that comes through? It has to be the process for the outcome to make the most sense. And that's what we have to go for our kids. So there's two constructs I want to go over today. One, the idea of honor before victory. So the idea that you want to understand and learn from someone, not just win the argument. And the second, I call the front porch principle, which is the idea that where you have the conversation and how you invite that person into the conversation makes all the difference in the rest of where that goes. So let's talk about honor before victory. Everyone's heard, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. That has to come out of the locker room and out of the playing field, because that is not necessarily about sports. That's not about athletics. That is about character. So we can take this into the classrooms. So what does that look like actually in a classroom? How do we teach our students how to disagree with honor and have productive conversations? Let's take an example. If you take a civic situation, if you take something in real world, give an example of a school district has X number of funds. They have limited funding. You can either decide to spend it on high achieving academics to help those students, or you can do it on learning support systems so you can help those students on the other side. Typically, what would happen? You pick a side, you debate. You've all been in those town halls, things like that. What I want you to do is something different. In the classroom, on the street, wherever you are, what I want you to do is don't split up people and then debate. What I want you to do is say, here's a twist I want you to do. I don't want you to pick a side and then go with it. I want you to decide how we can do this for the best of all involved. What solution can we come up with that helps everyone out? This is way more difficult. This is way harder than just picking a side and debating it. And it will create some confusion. Even with students in a classroom, it creates confusion because everything they've learned has been pick a side and fight for it, win at all costs, how do I get my A? So by doing this, you kind of mess them up for a sec. But one thing I'll tell you about kids, they are much faster than we are at learning, and they are much faster than we are at unlearning bad habits. And you'll see very quickly they move forward from that old construct to being curious and to asking questions and to wondering about things, coming up with third options, coming up with questions that we may not even thought about from the very beginning. And every minute that a student spends in curiosity and wonder is a minute they don't spend in hate. And every minute we spend in curiosity and wonder is a minute we don't spend in hate. Now let's think about the front porch principle, about where exactly we have these difficult conversations, where are we having these debates, because that makes a big difference. The front porch is interesting because it's a hallmark of the Southern hospitality lexicon. If you wanted to close your eyes again, you could visualize the idea, the wraparound porch, plantation idea. It's very typically Southern history. What a front porch is, however, is interesting because it's not exactly a public space and it's not exactly a private space. It is saying, I welcome you, I invite you here, but you're not actually going into my home. So it's kind of this safe third entity. So we need to create these front porches, create them in schoolrooms, create them in restaurants, create them out in the public, create them in our living rooms so we can have these conversations. But in order to do it, we have to create a set of rules. Just like they're watching us play a game with rules behind it, there's the same thing. We have to have a set of rules in order to move forward most productively and to teach our students exactly how to do this. And some of the rules might go something like this. You are a guest in somebody else's perspective. You wouldn't go into somebody's house and tell them their furniture's ugly. Don't go into well, I hope so. Don't go into a conversation saying immediately your perspective is dumb. You are responsible for your intent and for your impact. The phrase, I don't know, doesn't work. The phrase, I didn't mean it that way, is not a full sentence. The whole phrase of that is, I didn't mean it that way, and why do you understand it that way? Or, I didn't mean it that way, how did you hear it? That is the whole thing. And that's what you have to go in the mindset of. And you have to go in with learning and understanding over winning. The goal should be learning. Finally, go in with a genuine sense of curiosity. Come with questions. That's what we want to teach our students. That's what we want to consider for ourselves. We right now are raising a generation that is afraid of disagreement. They are fearful of it. They are not just uncomfortable with it, they are afraid of it. Why? They have seen adults around them, they've seen it on TV, they've seen it on social media, they have seen people lose friends, lose family members, and lose their composure over political discord and these disagreements. What we need to do is bring this back, teach the honor before victory, teach the idea of understanding over winning, build these front porches in all different locations, build them in the classrooms, build them in our living rooms, because the more we have them in different spots, the more we can kind of take this muscle back up, because we have lost this muscle. We have atrophied in exactly what we do in terms of disagreement and what we teach our children in terms of disagreement. When they figure out how exactly to do this, we can create a generation that can disagree without dehumanizing each other. They can disagree without destroying one another. And let me be clear, understanding one another and understanding each other's principles is not the same as agreement. You do not have to agree with someone in order to understand. You can deeply hold a belief that is all you and still be able to understand what someone else is saying. But the thing that will happen is we will create an agreement that is more fundamental than anything else. And that is that the person across from us is worth the conversation. Thank you.